Test, 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 test. Hello, everyone. If somebody comes later, they will join us. But thank you for having time to join us today at this pre-event for Global Game Jam. I'm Sava. I'm developer from Nordius, but also I'm a Global Game Jam Belgrade coordinator. Some of you know me from the last year, but some of you will know me from this year also. I will be short. We will talk mostly about tips and tricks from two veteran game jams, Lazar and Alex. I hope you will be participating in Global Game Jam, which is in 2.5 weeks. You will share our Instagram page, you will call your friends, and like it's open to everyone. And it's very chill out event, so there is no competition. Everybody's making game on one team and helping each other, so it lasts for 48 hours. And you can also join Discord if you didn't join yet, and you will get more info on the Discord. So yeah, first talk is Lazar.
Hi everyone, welcome, and I'm really glad that all of you came here today. So today we'll be talking about game jams, especially for newbies. So if you don't know anything about game jams and what they are, don't worry, I've got you covered. So for starters, I'm Lazar Cvetković. I'm a passionate game jammer and a Unity game developer. I've been to 11 game jams, got some awards, but these are all like some small game jams, so they aren't anything huge. For the first part of the game, right now I think some parts of the text will be screwed up, so sorry about that. But for the introduction part, we'll talk about game jamming in general, like what is a game jam, what are different types of game jam, and later on we'll cover some tips and additional tools that will help you on your game jam journey. So for starters, this is a ChatGPT definition of a game jam: a caffeine-fueled, sleep-optional, creativity-packed extravaganza where developers, artists, and dreamers unite to transform your wild ideas into playable realities. In other words, game jam is an event where you make a game in a limited amount of time, based on a given theme. For example, you can have a theme, and game jam can last like 48 hours, and you have to make a game in that time. So these are like some of the biggest game jams. If you are coming to the Global Game Jam, that is the biggest game jam in the whole world. Like 40k jammers participated last year, and 7.6k games were released. Besides that, there are a lot of, also GMTK and Ludum Dare. Ludum Dare is the jam where Hollow Knight was originally created. Hollow Knight is a really popular game, so this is a really great way to come up with the creative ideas and to make some games in short period of time. For example, a lot of developers and 3D artists and everyone as well have a lot of blocks where they can finish a project, and game jam is a really awesome way to finish a project in a limited amount of time. So I really hope that you come and hang out with us at Global Game Jam. There are a lot of different types of jams, like you have on-site or online jams. This is like a hybrid because Global Game Jam is an online jam, but also like Sava is organizing a jam in Belgrade as well, so it's a hybrid of sorts. There are a lot of competitive jams and collaborative jams. I think Global Game Jam is a collaborative jam, like no one comes to the Global Game Jam to compete or stuff like that. It's all about hanging out and making some games. So first things first, you need to choose who you are. Like, are you an artist? Are you a developer? Are you a dreamer? We'll talk about them all individually. So developer is maybe a gameplay developer or programmer, PowerPoint developer. Shout out to Pavle. Last year he and Leko made a game in PowerPoint, so like everything is possible. Maybe you want to go to develop some network stuff for UX, UI, AI, whatever. There are also artists, like you can be a 2D artist, 3D artist, animator, sound designer, texture artist, VFX artist, etc., etc. Like I only put some of the stuff here. There are also dreamers. Like dreamer is a game designer, writer, creative director, a level designer, project manager, producer, whatever you want. Like whatever skills that you have, you can come to Game Jam and hang out and make games. Like you don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to be an artist. You can just come and do your thing. So yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Like the whole point of the jam is to collaborate between different roles. For example, it is a really good opportunity to hang out with your friends that aren't in your niche. For example, they aren't programmers, they are like artists and game designers, and you can collaborate and make a game in a short period of time. That is a really eye-opening experience, and when I had like my first game jam, it was really awesome, and you can't experience it unless you try and participate in a jam. So yeah, I recommend like 2 to 5 jammers per team. It is an easier team side that you can easily like project manager and stuff like that. I mean, you can go solo, you can go like 10 players, 10 jammers or something. Like for example, this YouTube video, the guy was participating like with 24 devs. So yeah, everything is possible, but do whatever you want at the end. Yeah, these are some types of teams I included. Like these are some common teams. For example, you can have a dream team with 2 artists, 2 developers, and 1 dreamer. You can have Trio Fantastico with 2 artists, 2 developers and 1 artist. That is also a great combination. You can have a solid principal with 3 programmers. These are also viable option. For example, you can have one-man army where only 1 programmer participates. But at the end of the day, like whatever you want, you can go ahead and participate. Every team combination has its own advantages, disadvantages, so it's up to you. Okay, game jam starts. Now what? Like we know about game jamming and stuff like that, but what do we do? What tips should we need to know and stuff like that? First of all, before the countdown starts, like you have a 48-hour countdown. Before the countdown starts, make sure to know your team. For example, you will have some team limits. If you're working without an artist, maybe all of you are programmers, you can go for something art heavy. I mean, there are a lot of great assets that are free and stuff like that, but know your team limits and know what everybody wants to make. For example, someone doesn't want to make an FPS and someone doesn't want to make a platformer. Talk with your team and know what are their personal preferences. Besides that, you should have like a system in place with your task tracking. For example, we use Trello at game jams, but you can have like a paper and pen that will help you track your tasks and stuff like that. Tasks are really important because it lets everybody know what they are working on, and at every point of time you can have your teammates know like what everyone should do and stuff like that. Also, Drive is really great, like Google Drive or Microsoft or whatever, is a great way to communicate between the artists and the programmers for assets and stuff like that. So yeah, if you have 2 or more devs, make sure to set up your source control or version control. For jams, we use Unity and we use like Plastic RCM or GitHub, like whatever you want. But sometimes, like I've seen a lot of people get this part screwed up when the jam starts, and they have like few hours where they're trying to solve this problem. So make sure you watch some tutorial if you're new to this or something like that. Source control enables you to collaborate between 2 programmers or more programmers, where everyone is working on their own stuff and they merge it together. Also sync your engine versions. If you're using Unity, for example, a lot of versions aren't compatible with each other. For example, one version can screw up the other one, so make sure you all have like similar versions set in place. Okay, this is like an example of our Trello board for our jam. This is in Serbian, so I apologize, but we have like ideas tab, we have like to do, doing, bugs, and done. This is only one way to do this. Like ideas are stuff that may not be implemented. To do are some like essential features, and you only like drag one task to the other column when you start working on it, or when it's done, or it needs fixing. The other like popular way to do this is to divide your tasks into must have, could have, and should have, where like you have different priorities for tasks, and you should focus on must have tasks first. Okay, so game jam starts. The countdown has started, and a lot of people just go straight into programming or making art or stuff like that. My honest advice is like just go with your teammates and chill. Like get your ideas on the table. Like think about something what you should make. Like just go somewhere and hang out. Like that is like the coolest part of game jams. You don't have to be rushing or something like that. Like you have 48 hours. You really shouldn't rush. So we like have 1 to 2 hours to just talk about different game ideas and brainstorm together. One way to do that is to generate like associations or like generate whatever comes to your mind first about ideas, and then see what idea fits the team and fits the limit. Uh, the most important thing is to lower the score. Like focus on one core game mechanic, or like two at most. Like have something that is really easy to do in 48 hours, and just focus on that. Don't be like, oh my gosh, we are going to make an MMORPG or stuff like that. So just focus on small things and make them as polished as possible, make them as fun as possible, and have fun yourself. So yeah, lower the score. These are some great places where you can get free sounds, free assets, and free animations if you are struggling with that. Mixum has like some really great free animations. Free Sound has like some sounds each, besides having some games where you can play where you can play them. It also has like some great 2D assets and stuff like that. So these are some great places to get your assets if you aren't having like a dedicated artist or stuff like that. So yeah, this is what was my first game jam game. The whole idea was to, I think like team was retro, and we were thinking about let's make something that is connected to some book. So we were thinking about the book Inferno, and we made game based on that. So you can have different ideas based on different things. This game was inspired by a book. The next game was inspired by something funny. So we wanted to make something really funny, where the one grandfather is holding a rakia, like a Serbian drink, and they are fighting because they have like Alzheimer's and stuff like that. So it's a bit of dark humor, but it's really rememberable when you see it. The other one, he had like an old Serbian grandpa that was teleporting when showing three fingers, which is really popular in Serbia. And it was also based on a funny feature, like we were thinking about it. The other one was challenging ourselves to make a multiplayer game, which I do not advise, but it is a challenge nonetheless. And if you are like experienced in jams and stuff like that, and you think you can pull it off, why not? Like you can do whatever you want. This one we focused on one mechanic. Like we took our own device and focused on this, like balancing the board and stacking up the slimes, and we really focused on polishing it like to the max. So that was like a great idea for a limited amount of time, and you can really focus on stuff like that to make a game as fun as possible. The next one was also technology based. Like we wanted to make a ChatGPT API implementation where you can talk to this mushroom, and for example you have leftover food, and it can give you ideas on what to do for that leftover food. For example, you can have a banana that is leftover and you don't want to throw it, so what can you do with it to save the environment and stuff like that. So it was really a different combination of ideas put together. Okay, you know what to make. What should you do now? Like the game jam starts. I have a diagram for you to demonstrate that. So the game jam started, you got your ideas, you know what to make. First of all, like take it easy and sleep. Like you have 48 hours, you can comfortably sleep like for 8 hours, be more productive, and just enjoy your time there. Like for example, if the jam is like 12 or 24 hours, you can go with an all-nighter if that's what you want. But I always recommend like sleeping and taking it easy. Like you don't have to rush anywhere. So you should make an early prototype as soon as possible. Like you should have a playable game in the half amount of time that the jam lasts. For example, if the game jam lasts for 48 hours, you should make a playable prototype in 24 hours, and that will enable you to test it with others. For example, you can go and play with other jammers, and they can test your game and give you some really great feedback. And you can see where all the game-breaking bugs are. So this is a really important step in this process. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, after you have some bugs, you should again sleep because it's the next day and it's between the Saturday and the Sunday. So get your energy there, eat, and be ready for the final day. At the final day, it's all about fixing game-breaking bugs and polishing it up for the final presentations. Like, I would suggest leaving the whole last day be only for the polish. Like, you should make the game as user-friendly as possible. So it will be more fun and again, lower your scope and only focus on improving that one feature or more features if that's your case. Don't forget to chill with others and play other games. This is like the thing that a lot of us forget sometimes in the jams. Like, game jamming is not about only making a game and being there with your friends. It's about meeting other people and talking with them and playing their games that they made. And it's all about hanging out with each other. And that's like the most important thing about game jams. Like, you can have a lot of fun by making your game and collaborating with your teammates, but it's on the whole other dimension when you talk with others and play their games. So I really suggest doing that. There are a lot of additional tools that can help you. In this case, I focused on AI tools that can help you with your game jamming experience. I will not go into debate about is AI ethical or stuff like that. This is a game jam, you're making a game in a small amount of time, so like, who cares? First of all, there is a ChatGPT, of course. It can help you with your game ideas, it can help you with coding and everything. It is really great productive tool. Also, if you're willing to pay, there is a premium version, and there are a lot of like Copilot stuff like GitHub Copilot that can help you in your ID. Of course, some jams are forbidding the use of AI. For example, I think GMTK forbid it like last year. I'm not sure about Global Game Jam. You can ask Saba if you want. But yeah, ChatGPT for programming, Microsoft Image Creator or Bing Image Creator is a great way to get access to DALL-E 3, which is one of the top-notch like image creators that are free. For example, this is all free, and I made like a Game Jam logo presentation for it in like 1 sentence. So it's really intuitive and it's really great way to make assets if you like artists. If you don't like artists, like, don't use it. This is another alternative. This is Leonardo AI, and it enables you to make like game assets. Like, it's more on that spectrum. Also, there are a lot of audio tools as well. AudioBox enables you to make different sound effects, and it's a really great tool nonetheless. I think it's made by Meta. This is Suno AI. Yeah, this is a song that was made only for game jams. This is like, I put only 1 sentence in it, so yeah. It's also free, and you can generate like your text. Create the show. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'm all here for it. If you, yeah.
I have a question. What is the biggest failure or regret when you have like one of the? When you have one, what is your biggest regret or failure when you participated in the game jams before?
Yeah, the biggest regret, like hands down, is I didn't play test like soon enough, because like, for example, there was like Newbies game jam that lasted like for 24 hours, and we play tested it like in the last 3 hours, and we had like a game breaking bug, and we didn't manage to fix it until the game presentation. So when they play tested it, like, they couldn't finish the game because of it, and it was really like anticlimax ending. But yeah, it is what it is. Oh, sorry. So yeah, that is the biggest regret. Play test as soon as possible and make sure you don't have like any game breaking bugs.
Thank you.
So if you don't have any questions, oh, you have, okay.
Thanks. How much time do you give your team to pick the idea which you're going to make?
Yeah, mostly it's about like one to 1 to 2 hours. Like we go, for example, on outside, have a walk, or maybe we sit down together and just brainstorm and hang out with like 1 to 2 hours. It's not the staple, but like you can do it however you want. Like whatever is fine for you. Maybe you can have a great game idea in like 15 minutes, but you don't have to rush. Like you have 48 hours. The idea is also one of the most important aspects of your game at the end. So yeah. Thank you for your question. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, and Alex, good luck.
Bravo, Lucky. Here you go, Alex.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I will talk about how to game jam as well. Just as Lazar, I have pretty much sometimes similar tips and tricks, even though we have a different experience and different jams, but some of the tips will be pretty much the same, but bear with me. But for the quick intro, hello, I'm Alex. I'm VFX director in Sperasoft. I have worked on different AAA and indie games about which I cannot talk about, but the main thing when we collected here is the game jams, and especially the global game jam. We already know what is game jam, but if you forgot, like it's a game jam, an event for the 7 days. We have to make a short, little, small game on a desired theme. And a bunch of really popular games were made in the game jams, such as Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Dorf Romantic, Celeste, Inscription, Mini Metro, Super Hot, and many others. But why you should really listen to me, like who the hell I am? I have participated in game jams like since the university, and I have made a bunch of different games. This is like probably the last 6, yeah, not the latest, but I cannot put all GIFs of my games here because my PowerPoint just crashes, so like you have to believe me. So participating in the game jams is really fun. And the fun part of the game jams is you never knew what it will lead you to. Like, for example, 1 year, like 2 years ago, when nobody be able to buy a PS5 for themselves, I made a little small game for 1 week about having your PS5 and call it a PS5 simulator. It was like a really shitty game about managing power cables and trying to connect and run your PS5. But to my surprise, it was a hit, like a little phenomena, because a lot of articles like Game Rant, Polygon, BBC, and other game medias wrote about this, like little shitty game. And to my surprise, it was even speedrun on Games Done Quick. Like, what the hell? The game length is only 5 minutes, and guys are actually trying to speedrun. It's like, what is going on here? So you never know what your game will lead you. But we're not here to like be famous and so on. So why you should participate in the game jam? On the game jam, you can meet new friends, you can explore new ideas, you can hone your new skills and make, obviously, new games. But more importantly, as for me, is to hone the skill of finishing. Like
probably all of us have a bunch of prototypes or ideas which we would like to explore or maybe finish one day, but it just went to the trash bin and we start making new game. But for the game jams, we should really make and finish the game in the short time period. So this is like my workout station for honing this finishing skill. So what I will cover here. Since we in the Global Game Jam will have only 3 days, I will split my presentation for the days. And the first day is the presentation, like what we should prepare for. And what we should do before the theme of the game will be announced. So obviously we should set up all our software, like game engines such as Unreal, Unity, Godot. We should prepare a bunch of software for like making 3D or 2D assets like Blender, Maya, Photoshop, etc. And also set up a source control like Bitbucket, Plastic CSM, Perforce, but I would suggest you not to use Perforce because it's add a bunch of issues for me back in the day. So for me personally, I use Plastic CSM. It's a free source control up to 5 gigabyte of cloud service up to you. You can have there 3 or 5 members, I cannot really remember. And it's easy to set up because Unreal Engine, Unity, and probably Godot supports this CSM right from the get-go. So you should really like install everything and install it right now, like be prepared before the game jam, before the theme, before you will like wake up for the next day. But let's imagine that you are a programmer and you cannot do art. Like, I don't know how to draw, I don't know how to make 3D models and stuff. So in that case, we can forget that we cannot do it and like teach yourselves how to do it, or easily like find your way around it. For example, we can use a bunch of free assets from the Unity store or Unreal Marketplace. A bunch of other asset sites are also located here, like Mixama for sound, which Lazar have talked about. You can also use Sketchfab, because in the Sketchfab we can download a bunch of models, and they are CC0 license, so you can use it freely. Open Game Art, also good for finding some game art assets. Game icons, it's this one. If you like a shitty drawing person and you just need a bunch of icons and so on. But you may ask, like, well, my game then will be not that noticeable and unique if I will use some like bought assets or stolen assets or whatever. And usually in the indie sphere, it's called asset flip. But here's an example. This is the game called BPM, Bullets Per Minute. It's a rhythm-based FPS shooter. And the enemies in this game were asset flipped from the other game. Like in this example is the Paragon guy from the scrapped game from the Epic Games. But this game sold almost 3 million of revenue and have 8,000 positive reviews in Steam. So like nobody cares really for the asset flip if the game is good. So you should use it if you can or cannot draw. Also, if it would be an online event, you should set up your Discord and have 2 or 3 text channels, like for the important stuff, for the game design discussion, for the art, or maybe for the flute, and have 2 voice channels. Usually 1 voice channel for the engineers, code guys, and game designers to talk and figure out how this game should play it, and the second voice channel for the guys who tries to figure out how this game should look like. Also, you can use Miro for your brainstorming session. it's just like an online whiteboard when you can put a bunch of stickers, images, references, and so on, and everyone have access to it all the time and can collaborate this brainstorm session right from the get-go. This is just the mirror screenshot of one of my game jams. I don't remember which ones, but yeah. And also, it would be great if you will choose some leader in your group, if you will like participate in the group. Why? Because group work is great and like democracy is great, but when the game design and the game vision is formed by committee, usually it lack the core idea, the core like functionality. So you really should try and select the most experienced one of your team to be like the art lead and the game design lead, just to have like the final decision, like who we believe into and who will drive the final decision. Like he can obviously and will listen to your ideas and so on, but the final decision should be up to him. That's why bigger games have like creative directors or game planners and so on. Like basically the Kojima is the leader for the whole Kojima Productions stuff. So day one starts and we got an idea. Usually a theme is like consists of the single word or a short phrase. For example, here I have collected a bunch of actual themes from the game jams, all game jams, from the Ludum Dare, from the GMTK, and so on. And like how to think about those ideas and what game to make on those ideas. It's pretty hard task by itself, but it's even harder when you have 5 other team members and everyone shares like different vision for the game, different experience, and so on. So how to work with that? Okay, we go to the mirror on my experience and like just throwing a bunch of stickers with their own ideas, like we're taking from 5 minutes to 1 hour, 2 hours, just to throw every idea you have right now in your mind onto your whiteboard, and then we collect all the ideas of our team into one place, maybe with some references and arrows and so on. If you struggle with your idea, you can check this video presentation of practical creativity from the GDC about how to come up with the interesting and sometimes unique ideas. And after that, we are trying to kill ideas. Like we explicitly marking some ideas like, yeah, it's trash, we cannot do this, yeah, it's MMO, yeah, go to hell, and so on. So we just raise some ideas which we cannot support or which we cannot develop. Usually, what ideas are best for the killing? Like first 5 ideas doesn't count because they are the obvious ones. So you don't want to make an obvious one in usual game. Also, multiplayer games or Android APK or VR game is usually not the best thing because your play testers will probably not install your Android game on like your headset or your phone, and not a lot of have Android phones either. Story and deep feelings games are also not great because as I noticed that when you have a game jam, when like for GMTK you have like 7,000 games, you probably will not read the text there. You have only 5 minutes to play this game and you will just, yeah, skip, yeah, whatever. And also you should kill the ideas which are only be fun if it has like features A, B, and C. So like you just really need to remember that your game will probably be played only for 5 minutes or less. So if you do not catch your player right from the get-go, usually your game will be just closed and the players will not explore it furthermore. For example, we for the GMTK had this little game idea. I can't remember which the theme was, like roll of the dice, as I remember. And so we have that idea, like the little girl with the gun will throw a bunch of dices, and these dices will give you a random gun, a random task to reload this gun, and so on. And on paper, it sounds like, yeah, it would be great. But when we developed this idea, it was like the most boring game I have ever had. Yeah, it looks like nice, thanks to our artists, but on the game side, it was like not the really best game of all time. So after killing a bunch of ideas, we usually have a democracy of, and we use smiles or emojis to vote for the best ideas. Like, for example, on this example, this idea have most stickers to it, so we probably will explore this one. And with this, like voting system, we can kill all other ideas, which, well, probably can be explored, but nobody wants to vote for them, so it's not the best ideas. But you should really consider that like ideas are worthless, so don't take it personally when somebody like just marks your idea like, yeah, it's trash. Like, why it's trash? You're trash. No, you. And so it would be a disaster in your company. Oh, no, sorry, not company, but a team. So the best ideas for the game jam is the ideas which explore one single core idea or core game mechanic. It has one simple but at the same time fun action. By action I mean like what players are actually doing. Like, is it fun to shoot? Is it fun to jump? Is it fun to like sort puzzles on your board? Like, you should really find this fun action and develop this. The best ideas with this usually tends to be with the small amount of features and content, and usually it explores one or two core pillars or have an exciting player fantasy. By player fantasy, I mean like nobody wants to be a sad dishwasher. Like, it's a common thing, but to have a 5-star Michelin chef, like, yeah, it's a fun idea to explore. So you can try to lean into this space. Okay, day 2 starts and we should start to develop. And we have an idea, we choose the game idea for our game, and we wrote a bunch of tasks, like what needs to be done, what might be done, but the game should still be fun without those might be done ideas. And after that, we just kill those tasks. Like, we don't need them. We don't have time for them. After that, we will take those tasks that needs to be done and put them in the half. Because obviously you can't finish everything, and you will like stuck with something, and so you have to really figure out like what the minimal valuable product you will produce in this short amount of time. Sometimes we are stuck with the idea, like, yeah, it would be great to have a humanoid character, and your artist like, I never done this before. But we are, oh, yeah, you can do it, yeah, let's go. But he's stuck with this task, and like, damn, I'm spending so much time with that, but I cannot show, like, I don't have progress with this task. What should I do? Like, actually, you should just tell right from the get-go to your team, like, guys, I'm trying to do this, but I can't, and I need more time to develop this idea. And your team will just find a work around it, or you probably will not make this thing like humanoid characters and so on. Because like probably it is not the most important thing that should be in your game, and if you don't have time to develop this thing, like, it doesn't make even sense, because you should remember that you don't have time and you should run as you run like for the marathon and trying to be the first one. I have prepared a bunch of tips for the various like fields. Like Lazar have split for the engineers, for the artists, and for the dreamers. I have split them as well for the engineers, artists, and game designers. For tips for engineers is you don't have a premature optimization. Probably your game will run like a shit and nobody will care by any means. No complex systems because you don't have time to fully develop them. No, oh, I will make this system that will be easy to set up later. This later will never come up. Complex inheritance of systems like this is the character and I have a child actor for this character. It might work, but also copy-paste code is usually faster because it takes only 2 clicks. Yes, to reuse other systems from your other game jams or your other own prototypes. Also, you don't have to use a lot of variables because you will not have time to fix those. So using magic numbers in your code, like it's completely okay. As for the artists, like do not prepare a lot of unique assets. On one game jam, we had a game when we drive a small ship in the sea, and artists made 40 unique stones for this game. Like, it doesn't makes really sense to have like 40 unique stones in the sea because we will probably not play and we will not have the time to place them all. Also, no small details because yeah, we are an artist and we want to have the beautiful piece, but nobody will care. So turn off your perfectionism. So yes to low poly and sketches art and like not really polished art. You making the game and not the piece into your portfolio. So you will not add your game into your portfolio. So you should not think about like this in that way. So for the artist, also send source files of your assets to your engineers because at one time we had a rig for the character, but the artist got sick and went to the hospital that day. But we should like add some fixes to the rig, but we cannot since we don't have the assets, source files for the rig. So it went to scrap, and our game went with the square. So having a single network folder for all of your assets, not by it I don't mean the code, but your art assets, it would be great. So finish art faster. And for the game designers, you should be mindful about suggesting new features like, yeah, it would be great to add a little tail to your character so it can like fly everywhere. Like probably will not make it happen. So if you're a game designer, it would be great if you can help with importing art to the game engine or setting sounds or a bunch of UI stuff and so on. Also, as the game designer, you should play your game like the most different ways possible and often than other team members because you will try to find that fun and how to develop the game. GMTK have a good video about it, and in my experience, we had this game where we should like put a bunch of turrets and that will shoot this helicopter away from our oil rig, but it wasn't boring as hell. But we noticed when this helicopter explodes our oil rig, these pieces, accidentally I removed gravity for them, and so they're slowly flying and then falling. And that was a fun part to like jump on these like falling parts. So it wasn't the initial idea of our game, but we tried to follow the fun and make it possible. What you should do also as soon as possible. Make main menu and game over screens. Usually UI tends to be the latest of what we're thinking about, but it will be great if you will have the first iteration on with the main menu and game over. Also restart and exit buttons. Usually your players will stuck in something or like break something, so having a restart button will be great. Also, you should have at the end of the first day have a playable prototype with the end where you can actually like fail or win. And also you should try to compile your game from the hour 3 or 5. Why? On one jam, we had a game where we can control these like hands of this tool or whatever, and he tries to take some water. And for the water, we used built in water ocean shader in Unreal Engine. And so we were like, yeah, it looks great. The water feels nice. It has nice waves and so on. But at the last day of the game jam, when we tried to build that game, we found out that this water was an experimental feature, and it simply the game just not compiles like at all, and we cannot generate a .exe file. But we found it only on the second day, like almost 1 hour before the deadline. So it was a pain in the ass to like, yeah, I will make a new water shader and try to make it happen. So really build your work as the progressive JPEG thing. So what is it? The standard JPEG, how it loads? It loads pixel by pixel. So, for example, this image only loaded on the started JPEG at 30%, and this image is loaded on the 70%. And when this image loaded on the 30%, we cannot really understand what this image is about. Like, is it a hat? Is it a tube? Or is it a, like, I don't know, a building? But if we are using like a progressive JPEG method, we like constantly increasing the quality and resolution of our image, but all the time we have like image, and so when this like image loaded at 70%, we still understand like, yeah, it's probably flowers, and this is definitely a tube and not the building. Also, you can think about your development as preparing a minimal valuable product. Like, for example, you're given a task to make a car. What you usually do? Yeah, I will make a wheel, I will make 2 wheels, then I will make a body of the car, and then I will add engine and so on. For the projects, especially on the game jams, that usually doesn't work. So the way you should work with is like if you're given a task to make a car, make a simple skateboard. It will drive you to where you want, and it's still like a thing that moves you in the space. After that, you work with add some steering to this skateboard, and this is a scooter now. After that, this is a bicycle and so on. And with this approach, when I will tell you like, okay, stop right there. With this setup, you will have only 2 wheels, and it doesn't make sense. But with this setup, you still can move your ass through the space. So it should be, you should really build your whole like development cycle of the game jam like this. Because you should remember that working mechanics of the game does not lead to a great game, and sometimes doesn't even lead to a game at all. So you should not really think about, yeah, I will code this mechanic and everything will be like work right from the get-go and will be fun. Probably it will not. So you have to leave a lot of time, probably bigger amount of time to like hone this idea, hone this mechanic, and develop it not from the code, but from the gameplay perspective, like what is fun, how to make it even more funnier, how to make it play nice, and so on. And so we are approaching to the day 3, like finish day. At the start of the day 3, you should know what is fun about your game and what game parts isn't fun. You should know that you can beat the game and you can have a game over on your game, like you can fail it, and you should have a .exe file, like compiled game. Probably you will also hate your game at the time, but it's not a requirement. But at the start of day 3, it would be better to have at least 4 of those points. Like, for example, me and Denis, that's sitting here, we developed this game for the past GMTK. Yeah, it was a past GMTK. So this is 2, like, probably almost complete the similar GIFs, but the left GIF is the state of the game at the end of day 1 of development, and at the end of the development day 2. Like, it looks almost the same, but this game plays much faster, much interesting, much have a lot of like effects, juiciness, and so on. But this game did work at the day of at the first day, and so you should really like try to make this happen. And this is the best approach because after this game were released, we did not make it to the top 100. We ended up in 140 or somewhere there, but we sit at the top of like on the front page of itch.io for about a month or something. 4 months. 4 months, yeah. And after that, even some publishers wrote to us like, yeah, we can throw a bunch of monies to your game, like just make it happen. Yeah, so it was a really interesting experience. So at the start of the day, the final day of your game jam, you should set up your itch.io page early, like make a description, prepare screenshots, and so on. And also you should know about some quirks or some things of itch.io. So it has 1 gigabyte file limit. So you should compress your game and do not use 4K images in there. Use zip archive, not RAR or 7-zip. Why? Because not a lot of players will have a file archivator installed on their PC, but zip files are opens in the Windows 10 right from the like Gecko. You haven't really need to install something to open them. You should make some screenshots, prepare a short description and how to play. Nobody reads readme.txt file in your archive, so doesn't even bother to add this. Usually games gather more clicks when it has videos or GIFs because it shows how these games plays. And also at the start of the game or the last day, you should give your game to play to somebody because you can think like, yeah, it's the best game in the world, but your players will like, yeah, oh, whatever. So really, you make a game not for yourself, but for your players, and so you should really consider what is fun for them as well, because this is the game I have worked on as my personal game jam for 1 month, and the core idea of this game jam for me was like I have a static building, but I will place a random guards patrolling the area, and I will give a random gun to the player character and random skill, like this skill, like a slow-mo, but for dot run, I start with the nerf gun and cannot kill anyone. And I thought like, yeah, this is the next big idea. I will like make a tons of money with that. But actually, after releasing this game, I found out that players run my game only once, and then like why he gave me this Nerf gun? I cannot kill anybody with him. Yeah, just close it and go with find other better games to play. And even though I have wrote this in this game description, I called this game Random Punk. So like, yeah, it's random. You should play it several times, but nobody actually played it several times. So the main idea like was lost because of me and not because like players are stupid or something. Also, something that you should not forget is to add a tutorial. Like if your game is not an FPS shooter or whatever, you should tell how this game should be played, but not hide this tutorial in the readme.txt. Nobody reads this. Also, short introduction or no text at all, because players want to go straight to the action and not waste like, yeah, whatever, evil lover, overlord or whatever. Okay. Name your .exe and game folder as your game, and you can imagine that a lot of games ignore this paragraph, and you like download a bunch of games in the game jams, open them, and like, what this game is even about, because it's called like test, new map test. So, and I just delete this game even though it might be a great game. Take some screenshots of GIFs, okay, and send some love to your teammates, because they probably not only hate your game but you as well. So it's really a stressed environment at the last day. So you should really like try to send some love and like kiss at the cheek or something. At the last day, you should also add some juiciness to your game. Usually it tends like screen shakes, particle effects, something that make your game feels good, even though that is not changing the way how this game plays. Like for example, we have two GIFs, and these games are completely the same, but the left one does like have this juiciness, so no screen shakes, no particle effects, nothing. But the second one like feels powerful. You feel like, yeah, I'm this bad boy shooting bad guys and so on. But even though these games are pretty much the same, like under the hood with the code and balance and so on. And also you should remember that done is better than perfect, because perfect is never done, and you will not make a perfect game in 2 days. So you just simply release a game and like sleep, get some sleep after that. Okay, game jam is over, but you're still alive and want some more of it. What you should do after that? You have a lot of game jams online, like GMTK, Ludum Dare, Epic Mega Jam for the Unreal Engine, Global Game Jam, and also itch.io jams have like the whole calendar of jams. Like if you will try to participate in all of them, you will end up like this guy even after the 1 month of trying. So also, after finishing your game on the game jam, you can probably finish it and release it to the Steam or mobile. I actually did this some time ago. Like I made a game and after that released a fully fledged game on the Steam. It was not great game, but I gathered so much more experience of releasing an actual game that actual players will give money and plays. But that's probably a topic for another day. But basically, you should have fun and live another day. Thank you.
Any questions?
I thank you for this explanation. You said that we should publish our game on itch.io, but how does it relate to the game jam, actually?
Yeah, so we should publish our game to itch.io, basically because this is the free platform where you can store your screenshots, your zip archive, and it generates an easy link for you to like send your friends and family, because you obviously can publish your game on like Google Drive or iCloud, but it just generates a link without the name, and if you will open this link, it will just send you to like zip archive, and your players will not see this thing. And also with this itch.io, you will have like an archive of all of your old game jams, and so you can like go to the street and like, yeah, I made a bunch of game jams. Here's there. So this is just like for your having it for the sake of your players to easy find your game, and just it.
But is it? Maybe I don't want to waste time on this thing during the game jam. Can I do this later, after the game jam?
Yeah, for the global game jam, for sure, because you probably do not need to host the game for the global game jam on itch.io. But for some game jams, you like should have placed somewhere to store this. And for like, for example, for the GMTK, the whole game jam happens on the itch.io platform. So you like when you prepare your game, you just submit your game to this jam with the things built in itch.io. So that's why you should need. But yeah, you can add description and add screenshots later, sometimes even after jam ends. But you should really read the rules for the game jam, because some jams are not support this, but some does.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
First of all, thank you very much for your presentation. I wanted to ask you to maybe share a presentation file, if it's okay for you, because you had like tons of links and useful information, so maybe on Discord server or something like that.
Yeah, I will try.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I had one more question. What is usually your goal in participating in Jam? Like, you told about the game you published in Steam about this asteroids or something like that. And yeah, you told about that fun game of PS5 simulator. But you had lots of jams behind, and what was your motivation to participate?
Well, my motivation for each person obviously differs, but for me it's like to meet new people, get to know each other, because I usually participate in game jams with completely different and random people. So I usually meet new guys and girls, and also it's just fun, like just to have fun and to not sleep for 2 days. Like, what can be better?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any more questions? No? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Lazar. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, we can chill out here. There are some drinks there. We will share the talk. I hope it recorded on the YouTube, and share the presentation also on Discord and Instagram. So yeah, I hope you had a good time here. You learned something new, and you will join us on the Global Game Jam Belgrade, happening in 2 weeks. So thank you, and see you.